Okay, these are notes for honors math analysis for circles. Circles are not taught in section in chapter 10 with the rest of the conic sections. It's taught at the beginning, and it's very easy to do. There's very little that we do extra that we didn't already do in geometry. Circles have a formula: x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. This should look familiar from the unit circle. The unit circle would have the center at 0, 0, so you'd have an x squared and a y squared, and the radius is 1, so it would just be x squared plus y squared equals 1. In this case, we're not going to always talk about circles at the origin. So if this center of this circle is at hk, the center is always going to be hk. So if you start at the origin, you move right h and you go up k, you get to that point. And so transformations will be very useful here. The radius is always r. And then you'll have to be careful. It shows you the radius here. Sometimes problems will give you the diameter. Sometimes they'll give you the radius. You'll have to just pay attention. And that's really all there is to a circle. So for this example right here, if I wanted to graph this equation of a circle, x plus 4 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 9. So my center is going to be -4, +1. So just take your time and be very careful that you identify the center correctly. So -4, I go left 4 from the origin, and I go up 1, and there's my center. My radius is going to be the square root of 9. So the square root of 9 is going to be 3. So from the center, I'm just going to go up 3, make a point, right 3, make a point, down 3, make a point, and left 3 and make a point. And this doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'm just going to draw a curve, go through the points. I missed that one a little bit, but you get the idea. And that's the circle. I wouldn't rush too quickly on these. You're going to need to practice them, but you don't need a lot of practice, and just be careful as you work on them. Just like parabolas, sometimes we're not given a circle in vertex form or center HK form, and so we might want to rearrange it. So this equation here is in standard form or general form, depending on the book you're using, and I want to turn it into this HK form. So I'm going to complete the square. This is actually easier for most people than the parabola. So you just have to be careful and follow one step at a time. I have an x squared and a y squared. So I want to keep both those together, but I want to go ahead and put all the x's together. So I'm going to say x squared minus 10x. And I'm going to put the y's together. So I have a positive y squared plus 4y. And I'm going to move the constant to the other side. What that's going to do is it's going to give me my x's and y's on my left-hand side like it did here, and a number on the right-hand side. Now I'm going to complete the square, but I'm going to complete it with x's. And I look at this, I have -10. I'm going to take half of -10, which is -5. And I'm going to square it, which becomes 25. So I'll have x squared minus 10x plus 25. I'm not going to do it right yet, but I know that I added 25 on this side of the equal sign. I'm going to have to add it to the other side as well. But the next thing I'm going to look at is my y's. Y squared plus 4y, half of 4 is 2, and when I square 2, I get 4. So I'm going to get plus y squared plus 4y plus 4. So I have the 71, I added 25, and I added 4. Now I can factor the left-hand side. If I factor this perfect square trinomial, I come up with x minus 5 squared. If I factor this perfect square trinomial, I get plus y plus 2 squared. And if I add all these numbers together, I get 100. So now in just a couple steps, I was able to rewrite this so it's in HK form. X minus 5 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 100. I can easily find my center, which is 5, negative 2, and my radius, which is 10.